In this video, I'm going to show you how to fold the basic flower form for an odd number of petals. And you can see I've got a star-shaped piece of paper, actually a decagon. It's got 10 sides. And it's green on one side and yellow on the other side, so it'll match the diagrams in your book. And we begin by folding in half on the diagonal that you see. And I do this by matching up these corners. I align these corners, these two corners, and I start to squeeze my fold in, and then I align this edge, and you can see my edge is out of alignment. So I adjust my paper down a little bit until that edge is in good alignment, and now I'm not worrying about these corners anymore. I just make the fold. It's a leap of faith. And unfold, and I do the next one. Align these corners, and then align this edge. Okay, and again, I'm adjusting the paper up and down with this hand and aligning this edge. Just like that. This is not an easy fold to make, but with practice, you'll get good at it. And the next one. Oh. You don't want these corners way out of alignment. They need to be well aligned, and then we work on this edge. That's the next one. A couple more to go here. Same thing. Align the corners, and then align the edge, just like that. And I believe this is the last one. Align that corner. Good. So I think we have 5 folds here. Just like that. And the next step is we flip the paper. And now we're going to fold each of the peaks, each of the outside peaks to the center. And we want to leave a small gap along the edges. So I'm not going to fold it all the way to the center. I'm going to bring it a little bit back from the center, just to the center, and then bring it a little bit back so I can leave a gap. And I leave these gaps so that my paper won't get damaged in a later step. All the way to the center, and then I pull back a little bit and lay in the fold. One more to go. Just like that. Okay, so you see I don't have any overlapping here. And I'm going to zoom in so you can better see what I'm doing. And the next step is to lay in these mountain and valley folds that you see here. We're putting these folds in so that we'll have an easier time collapsing it in the next step. So each triangle, the center of each triangle will have a mountain fold on it, and the edges of the triangle will have 2 valley folds. So I put my finger underneath and I make each of these a mountain fold. Again, each center fold of the triangle is a mountain. So I just go around and make 5 mountain folds. This is pretty easy. So now I've got my mountain folds, and the next step is to make my valley folds. So between each triangle there's a valley fold. I just lay those in. 5 of them. Just like that. I think this is the last one. So now I've got this shape which collapses. You bring all these corners into the center. All the outside corners are just going into the center, and it collapses into this funky shape. And I've got the wide end has openings and the narrow end is shut. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. And the next step is to fold the outer edges into the center. just go like that. We do the same thing on the other side. Now, these edges that I just folded are going to be inside reverse folded. And that means we need to sharpen the edges. I can use a popsicle stick to do that, or I can use the nail on my finger. The problem with using your nail is you wear your nail out very quickly. And my favorite tool to use is a wallpaper rolling tool, and it just rolls right down those edges and sharpens them without damaging the paper. So I'm going to use my wallpaper tool. So to inside reverse fold these, open the flap, and then we partially open the model like this. And we do exactly what we always do with reverse folds. I put my finger under the fold and I push the paper over it. I put my finger under the fold and I push the paper over my finger, and then I make the valley fold in the center. Okay, so here's a flap we haven't done, and here's one we have. See how that flap is on the inside? So now I'm going to do this guy. Open it, stick my finger inside, and then push the paper. I'm sort of pinching the fold into place. And then close it. And there's two of them. Now we need to do this for all these outside flaps. We have 3 more outside flaps to go. I've got 1 on this side, and I have 2 on this side because we've got a 5. We started with a star shape. We've got a 5 peak or a 5 tip shape. So I flip my model, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I fold these edges in. 1 and 2. And then I sharpen them. Like that. And now I open one and partially open the model and inside reverse it, pushing the paper over my finger, and then I close the model back up. And there it is. Now I'll do the next one. Open the flap, put my finger inside, and inside reverse it. Like that. Now we've got one last flap to go, so I need to book fold. And then I fold that flap to the center and sharpen it. Like that. Open the fold and inside reverse it. Just like that. And close my model back up. So now your model should look like this. It's much smaller than it was when we began. Anyway, we need to do some book folding here because the bottom of our model needs to match what's in the diagram right here. So this bottom of the model doesn't match what's there. And if I book fold just one layer, look, now it does match the diagram. Now I have this area here. Now I'm going to flip my model and do the same thing on the other side. Just book fold one layer so that my model matches the diagram. And now we're going to make these 2 small folds on the bottom of the model. Just like this. And I make this fold go slightly further than the center line. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm folding this a little bit further than the center line. And I'm going to sharpen it because it's going to get, the inside layer at least, is going to get messed with. And I do the same thing on the other side. And now I'm going to pull this layer of paper up. Here's the diagram. I'm going to pull this layer of paper up, and it's going to create some new folds. I pull this up, and look, it actually creates its own fold right here. That's going to create two more in the top. It's creating two more folds on these edges as I go to close it. So I end up with this kite shape right here. And it turns out that's a very important, it's an integral part of this model. I have this kite shape, and I'm going to unfold it just to facilitate folding on the rest of the model. And I'm going to work on the other side. Now here's a trick you can use to speed up the folding process. You don't need to make all those folds I made in step 12. If you begin by bending your model a little bit, I'm bending the model a little bit away from the fold I'm about to make, and now I just lift the flap from step 13. I use my thumb to start the fold, and I just push and crush fold all those folds into place. So we didn't have to make the folds that we made in step 12. I'll show you that again. We need to make this kite shape appear on every layer of the model, on every flat flap that we see. Again, I'm unfolding it just to make it easier to fold the rest of these. So we book fold until we find another flap that looks like this that we haven't folded yet. And I bend the model down away from the fold I'm about to make, and I lift this flap up and squeeze it into the kite shape. This movement takes a little bit of practice. So until you've got it down pat, you can do it the old-fashioned way or the easier way. Here's another flap that we need to do. So I'll do it the other way this time. Step 12. We fold the two edges in like that, and unfold. Fold the other edge in like that, and unfold. And then step 13, we lift this flap up. Like that. And I've got the kite shape. Now I think I need to do either one or two more. I lost count. So this is done, so we don't need to do that again. So we book fold, and this fellow has not been done yet. I'm going to use the other method on that. Just lift the flap up, turn it into a kite shape, and close it. Open it back up. And I'm going to book fold again. This side has been done. I can see the folds. Book fold again. Flip my model actually. This side has been done. This side has been done. And this side has been done. So all the sides have been done. So believe it or not, the next step is a little disheartening. We're actually going to completely open the model. I know, it seems like all that folding was a complete waste of time. But in fact it wasn't, because we have we have created a pattern of folds that is tremendously powerful. So we have this array of folds, and each part of the array, each diamond shape represents a petal of a flower. So here's one collapsing petal, and this is what you want to do with your paper. You want to push up this mountain fold in the center of each petal and sort of push it a little bit towards the center, and you'll see we've got this interesting kite shape forming in the center of our model. We just go around doing that on for each petal. And now we just sort of push each petal towards the center, working them towards the center, and you'll find that your model will collapse into this odd shape. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. And so now we've got this odd shape, And one of the things we need to do, as the final step in this, is we need to make sure that this elongated diamond shape is on the outside of each end, or each side. So I need to just book fold that one flap over so that I have this diamond shape. You'll see this elongated diamond shape is made up of these two little flaps, and I want to make sure that both sides have that diamond shape, and we're done. That's the basic flower form for an odd number of petals.